Hey man, how you doing? So glad to see you. Thanks for tuning in. We're making it work. And I'm Jimmy if you're new. We're gonna spend a day in the shop. We got cars to fix all of them. Look, take a look at the grass here. I'll show you what we got. We got Nissans, Fords, got a Toyota Prius waiting on the AC actuator. I think we're gonna do that one. We got a Ford Windstar, we got a Ford Explorer, we got a Ford F-150. We got a Chevy Tahoe, needs a transmission. Old Cadillac, a tree fell on it. Another old Cadillac, I think Joe did a cooling system work on that. Another Cadillac, another Cadillac, another Cadillac, another Ford, old Chevy truck, old Ford van. I mean, the variety's endless out here. Classics, customs, exotics. Mostly Nissans, Fords, and Cadillacs. We fix it all. We do classic restorations, we do electrical, drivability, maintenance, top to bottom, European, Asian, domestic, doesn't matter, we do it all. So I'll put some clips in here of what's going to happen in this video today. They said they drive a little while and it feels like it won't go. 2004 Corvette. Well, this here Dodge, I think it's a Journey. So I'm going to do the starter. And I just need to get to the back bolts. It's got 5 bolts on the strut tower. So now you got a pretty good idea what's going on. I still don't know yet. Hopefully we were busy. I got bills. Everybody's got bills, don't they? Anyhow, let's stop horsing around. Let's get serious. Let's get to work. Try to learn something. But we will have a little fun too. I'm actually pretty good at that. If you're like someone that doesn't take themselves too seriously and just likes to have a good time and enjoy every day the best they can, make every day a good day, that's my goal. Stay tuned. Alright, there's a key out here somewhere. Oh, it's probably that white one. Yeah, let's see. Oh, look at that. It's got no tag on it. I can't drive that. They said they drive a little while and it feels like it won't go, which on a Kia usually means catalytical converteristical. In the professional industry, they call that catalytic converter, but it's not as entertaining for me. So it's a catalytical converteristical. Man, it's got an extended crank. 91,546 miles, 2018. Got some sweet seat covers on there. The next person that owns it's going to really enjoy the new nice seats. You guys know that I'm kind of hard on the seat cover deal. Caliper covers and seat covers, nope, don't like them. I mean, you know, people do what they want. That's fine. I'm just gonna tease a little bit, no big deal. A couple people get really mad. That video where I made fun of the caliper covers on a car. People that get really mad in the comments. I'm like, oh, I know they have them on theirs. What's he doing? All right, I'm going. If you're not, kid. They found a loose suspension arm bolt in the left front, and they tightened it up already. Bill and Riley were looking at it, but they couldn't figure out the won't go part. Oh, I just heard a noise, like the right front arm. We'll put the scan tool on it. We'll look at some data, try to see if we can figure something out. Check engine light's not on. Huh. Man, is it freaking cold. It's cool out this morning and the air's on max. Let's lower that down. What do you say? I don't want you guys to be cold either. 71 degrees out. Probably don't even need the air on. Dale's here. All right, let me grab the scanner. All right, after a little handshake action, we'll see if we can find some good data to look at, mass error or map, and things like that. It also has a slightly extended crank, so possible fuel pressure, fuel pump problems. We'll take a look. Aha! I see a code. I'm going to send their support, and we'll take a look, see what that code is. Low pressure fuel system, high deviation between target and current pressure. That means it can't build the fuel pressure it wants. So either the low volume feed pump, the high volume low pressure pump is going bad, or the high pressure pump is going bad. So we'll bring up some fuel pressure data PIDs and we'll see if we're dropping off our fuel pressure. It's also low on gas, underneath of a tank, and it has no tag on it, so it'll be easy. All right, we're gonna find all our pertinent fuel pressure PIDs, people, pertaining to this problem. I don't know if there's gonna be any more. I think that's about it. Let's take a look, see what we got. Distance since DTC cleared, 3,500 miles. Fuel pressure. I want to see it in PSI. Thank you. Deviation 570. Let's start it up. It's only key on, engine off right now. So now the deviation is much lower. We're going to put it in graphing mode. We're going to combine. Let's see what ones we want the most. We don't care about the DTC distance, so we'll bring up all the other ones except that 5th one. Alright, let's go like this. Change that over to PSI again. I don't know why I would have to do it several times. It changes back. I wish it would stay where you put it. I'm going to call Top Don and tell him, hey! I shouldn't have to change that every time. Once I set it, it should stay. Now we'll put it in graphing mode and we'll combine. I need to go through this again. I may edit all that hardship out. I don't want anyone else stressed out. Fuel pressure 600 psi at idle. Set point 600 pounds. Deviation is the blue line. That's what we really want to see. We definitely have a little bit of a problem with some deviation higher than I would think it should be. I have to look at the theory of operation and see exactly what's allowable, because I mean you can speculate a lot, which I like to do anyway, just to see if my hunches turn out to be right. But the actual diagnosis portion is going to be finding out what the manufacturer thinks is allowable. You know, it may say 150 psi is allowable, it may say 10 psi, you don't know. What I really like is the orange and gold are pretty in agreement pretty much. The set point and the actual fuel pressure are about the same. I'm going to give it a little power brake action. Load it up a little. See what happens if it moves around too much and the deviation gets out of control. 2300 psi. So whatever's happening is intermittent. That's going to be interesting to figure out without a tag. I'm going to see if I can find my low pressure pump versus my high pressure pump and see how much variation there might be on the low pressure side. Well, I am not having any luck finding a data PID for low pressure, so it may be a mechanical tap. There'll be like a valve on the fuel rail where I can check the inlet pressure going into the high pressure pump from the low pressure high volume pump in the tank. So we may have to get out the mechanical fuel pressure gauge. We haven't done that in a while because so many modern cars have sensors on the fuel rails and all. You can look at fuel pressure right there, as long as the sensor's working correctly, of course. But we may have to dig out the fuel pressure gauge, and of course we got to duplicate the problem. So that's going to be another thing to deal with, because right now it's running good, makes good power, revs up nice. So we'll see where we go with that. We'll take a look under the hood, see if there's a fitting for the low pressure pump. Then we'll try to get it to do it while we look at high pressure pump data and the low pressure data at the same time. And if the low pressure starts to fade and the high pressure as well, then we know the low pressure pump's causing all our trouble. If the low pressure pump stays up and the high pressure pump starts to drop off, then the problem's coming from the high pressure pump, which that could mean either the pump's worn out, could be something to do with the cam drive. A lot of things can cause a high pressure pump to drop off. So I'll also take a quick look for service bulletins, and on my way back we'll pop the hood and take a look under there. Okay, this car is a perfect example of why you go look at service bulletins and stuff before you do anything on a vehicle. The problem we're having is that P1233 code, which I looked through it so quick talking to you guys about it, I didn't realize low pressure fuel system deviation. So I pulled the service bulletins up, and this car, 2016 to 2020 Optima, low pressure fuel pump failure, covered 15 years, 150,000 miles. They extended the warranty. The affected vehicles exhibit intermittent reduction in power, check. Contain an active code 1233, check. Exhibit a no start condition due to cracked fuel pump filter housing. Follow the procedure outlined to inspect and if necessary replace, which they want you to take it out to look at it. But basically, because of the fact that we definitely have the extended crank, which I saw when I went out in the parking lot, it cranked about 4 seconds before it fired up. That means the low side pressure is bleeding off back into the tank from a cracked filter housing. Obvious what's going on with this, but no, we don't need to go any further. We're losing our fuel pressure. We got codes for losing fuel pressure. We're getting the symptoms of low power, and we're dropping our low fuel pressure off back into the tank, and that's why it has that extended crank. So, plus it's under warranty from the dealer for another 60,000 or 59,000 miles. So I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. He may just want us to fix it anyway and not go back to the dealer. According to I talked to him up front, so he wants this thing fixed. He doesn't want to go to the dealer. Apparently he tried to bring it there first, and they told him it was like 3 weeks before they could look at it. So we may end up fixing it anyway, and he'll just pay us and try to get reimbursed by Kia, I guess. I'm not sure. In any event, we'll carry on further on this car if we do any more. 2004 Corvette. It's bicolored. Can't decide if it wants to be red or gray. Someone did a little bit of a paint job. It's supposed to look like tearing or something. Just didn't do a very good job of it, I guess. I am a painter, for those who may not know. I do a little airbrushing and stuff, but could have done little tears where they come to points and some shading underneath to make it look a little more realistic. It's not hard to do, but it looks like it used to have pinstriping, but it's fading away, like it was waxed a lot. Anyway, it's not here for paint critique. It's here for shifter doesn't shifter it, and oil seems to be evacuating from the crankcase at an undesired pace. So let's see if it'll stay up. The hood shocks are not very good, so we're going to put a clamp on those. And it's got those junky painted terminals from Pep Boys, and an AutoZone battery, maybe AutoZone terminals. Strip the paint off those if you use them, by the way, because they cause connection problems and stuff. Just get it in the air and take a look. Shifter cable usually pops off the lever on the transmission. Sometimes a shifter, but you can't see that end without taking the panel down and the exhaust down and stuff. The oil leak we'll take a look at too. These are bad for rear mains, oil cooler gaskets, stuff like that, just like on the trucks. Well, you're not supposed to be able to move the shift lever. So what'll happen is you got to take this exhaust out of there. All these little 8mm bolts, there's about 700-800 of them, something like that, or like 40 or 50, I'm not sure, one of those. And the shift lever sticks out through the floor pan above this cover. So that's what will be involved in that. Drop the exhaust, drop the cover, and then the shift cable runs back, tucks up in there. It's a tight squeeze, but with the exhaust out of the way, believe it or not, there's enough room. I've done a bunch of them. So oil leaks, we got a few. We have got a few oil leaks. I'll have to clean this all off to make sure, but it looks like oil is getting on the AC belt, the pulleys a little bit, not terrible. The oil pan or timing cover is leaking because it's running down. And then also the oil switch and gasket for it. And then possibly even the filter. It's tight. It's got the typical leaking from everywhere a little bit issue. Let's clean it off a little and run it, see where the primary source is. We're gonna need more. If you haven't seen this contraption, we pump the brake cleaner into here, pour it in with this funnel that lets it evacuate air, screw a little fitting back on, shop air right here, like brand new. Brake clean extravaganza. You got 55 gallons, use as much as you want. That's two cans. I don't want to work around in that mess, so I'm gonna mop it up. One cool thing about these, you can peel off the, oh yeah, rear main's got some oil on it. Oil doesn't travel up, so you can peel this cover off and get you a peek. Hoping it shows up on camera, but Might be one of those ones like we were talking about when Joe did that last red one. I think it was actually that car. The guy came back for more stuff. But an engine reseal might be the best course of action on this thing. Just take it out, all new gaskets and seals, and everybody wins. This one looks like it might have already been done. It's hard to say. It's speculation at this point, but all right, I got it in park. Should be able to start this thing up and see where we get some oil out of it first. That's my goal. But it basically looks like it's headed towards an engine reseal to do it 100% right. Went from soft start to battery repair, so we're getting somewhere. It was at 3 volts. Not the best idea. It's a brand new battery, and it is not hooked correctly. Someone decided to put a terminal in place of the terminal. I don't know why, but all I know is I made a short saying don't do it, and I'm going to see if he wants to fix that too. That's the only thing holding the connection is this wing nut. So this one too. They centered it though, so that's a little better. I don't know. If this thing pops out from under the wing nut, no ground. But you know what? All I can do is see if they want me to fix it and make it correct. I'm gonna let this battery try to recover for 20 or 30 minutes, and then we'll try to start this thing up, see where the oil leak's at. Well, this here Dodge, I think it's a Journey. Bill was working on. His little baby got sick at the daycare, so he had to take him home. So I'm gonna do the starter. Just about ready to come out of there, I think. Starter just got here. Shouldn't be nothing but a thing. Let's see if it's, I think there's only the 2 bolts. That's it. It just kind of sits on a dowel. Oh yeah, that thing's ready to go. Be free, be free. I don't want to damage it too bad. We need it for a core. Let's go. Don't make me get the Sawzall. You know what? I might need a smaller screwdriver to get a little better in there. It's starting to get kind of silly. Let's do this. I guess because there's only 2 bolts, that little dowel pin's a little excited about hanging on. Raise the angle of the starter. The angle of the dangle's got to be directly proportionate to the angle of the cable. What'd you think I was going to say? There you go. It's a girl. It's just an adorable little starter. I mean, look. I mean, I got a stubby thumb, but still, it's not. It looks gigantic compared to the little tiny starter. Getting this back in, that's going to be a treat. But don't be discouraged. It's going to go. You got the solenoid and the starter case have to be at just the right angle. Oh, look at that, man! What are you talking about? Oh, look, that dowel's not supposed to stay in there. I got 2 dowels. That's not going to work. So I get a pliers or something. Hopefully it comes out of the transition, or that's the engine block. Uh-oh. But that dowel's probably hardened, but we'll see if we can grab it enough. Just to kind of convince it to come out of there. Nope. That's going to be interesting. I might have to get vice grips, or I might have to warm up the block a little bit to get it to come out. But if it comes on the starter, I would think it should come out of the block, right? Sometimes a little love. About to get a hammer? Okay. I mean, you guys realize side cutters can be a hammer, but a hammer can't be side cutters. Sometimes a little shock will work. I'm going to get a bigger hammer and try something. Try being serious instead of horsing around about it. As I say in France, don't do any damage if you can avoid it. So I'm going to try to sneak up on it, hit it a little bit, and see how it goes. Hit a little more, see how it goes. I'll fight with this a little while. We're going to win. It's just a matter of how ugly it's going to get before that happens. So, and I don't want the internet to be on fire about it. So I want to try to do it right. Well, actually, maybe it'd be funnier if the internet was ablaze about how terrible of a mechanic I am. You don't know what you're doing. You just start working on cars last month. Let me get some vice grips and see if that'll work. This thing is not playing nice, so now I got the Malco Eagle grips out. And I'm gonna try that. It is not turning. I thought for sure that would work. I'll put a little heat on it. Not much, just from my little heat shrink torch that everybody seems to think is so powerful. The aluminum should heat up way before the dowel pin, right? That's the theory. I guess I could take it out of the starter, but I don't want to. It doesn't feel like it's the right way to do it. I'm stubborn that way. Killing me, bro. A little more heat, a little more prying. It's turning. Oh, that thing was rusted in there. Rust wins over the press. It's pressed into the starter and rusted into the motor. And the rust won. I'm going to save that dowel pin. You never know when you'll need it for something. Alright, now it's about to get real up in here. Now it's an easy job again. Once that's out of the way. I might be a risk taker. Thread those in with a power tool because it's such a long ways. It's on a dowel. How could it not be right? And I'm not much for parachuting or bungee jumping, but I will occasionally thread a bolt in with a power tool. Just to mix it up for the day and feel like I'm taking a risk and breaking the rules. That's how I am. I'm a rebel. So I've been told I'm gonna get this cable on here with a little coercion. There it goes. I'm gonna go ahead and put that nut on. I'm gonna have to use the new nut too that came with the starter against my will, because the original one's pretty rusty, and I don't like when it's that rusty. I'd rather use the new one with a separate lock washer. I got a cutoff when it comes to rust. Eric O, he would just wire brush it and put it back. Nope, not happening. They don't do things that way in Central Florida. You get a wrench for that. I think it's a 13. That little blade connector is in the back of the solenoid. It's just sticking out. Now, just a matter of throwing the brace and that cross member in. Not sure what he's paying labor. I didn't see any paperwork yet. They just asked me to finish up the starter for Bill since he's not coming back. I think those are 16s. It's not going to fit. That's right, I had to use a wrench the whole way out with that one. Alright, let me get this buttoned up. Turns by hand about a turn, and then the wrench with it by about a turn. Or you can just jiggle and turn and turn. Not necessarily in that order, but there we go. Finish tightening up the wrench one first. Throw tools on the ground as needed. It's all part of the process. Oh, that's terrible news. Stay where you go. Being a little difficult, but that's alright. We can handle it. We've been down this road before. Every repair, there's always something that's going to fight you a little bit. I always have aspirations of, man, it's going to go so smooth. It's going to go right together because I want it to. And the next thing you know, you're going, come on! Oh yeah, huh? Oh yeah. That's how you want to be. I'll get the 1/2-inch impact. Be careful. Just trying to get you threaded in by hand first. You know what it is? I think I have to get a pole jack because this bolt isn't lining up with the engine mount. And it's kind of helping me hold it up, but fighting at the same time. look at it this way, the show wouldn't be nearly as interesting if it wasn't for all the dancing, right? I wonder if I can make this happen without a full jack. Yeah, that's optimistic. Not as strong as I used to be. Remember the old caravans? Well, this is technically not a caravan, but you know, looking underneath, it's a caravan. But we used to have one bolt there that would rust and break. Remember that one I had to drill all the way through? You saw that video, didn't you? I am going to get me a... it smells like it's raining outside. Is it raining outside? Yeah. Oh, okay. Can't even see it. It's raining so light, but I can smell it. It smells like fresh water cooking off warm asphalt. This is the only thing holding us back right now. Oh, look. Once I tighten these up, it lined up. I don't need no stinking pole jack. Besides, it's all the way over there. You know what though? I might have to make sure this is lined up. I noticed there's a little slot in the mount. So let's put it a little closer to the center. You don't want it too far one way or the other generally. There's probably a measurement for something. But once the mounts are wearing out like that, it's all good. A lot of times there's witness marks, which I can see a little mark on the bracket. It's pretty close to that mark that was there. I gotta put his original battery in. We're charging it up. He doesn't want to buy a battery yet. The battery's in the wheel well. He wants us to charge it up, put it back in. I'm like, well, it might have hurt the starter because the battery was bad so long. I'm starting in the middle, so starter's in. That's the good news. We'll see what happens. It's a great idea putting a battery in there, isn't it? Yeah. Big old SUV with a 4-cylinder, you know, there's nowhere else it's gonna fit. You only got so much space. This gets shoved in there somehow. Usually what you do with these is you pop it out of the plastic if you can, and then you turn this so that it will let you pivot it. And it is not happy about it. There you go. That's never been moved. So we'll give it a little spritz of deep creep. Stuff works for everything. Battery hold downs, whatever you need. Put this in this metal bracket. Slide this into place. This is all totally destroyed here, so we're gonna do the best we can with what we've got. Such a knucklehead design. Oh my goodness, Dodge. What are you doing, man? I mean, how's it easier to get to the battery on a Corvette than it is on a Dodge Journey? I don't understand it. Looks like there's a little slot down here, if I remember correctly. I think that would work. Even though it's mashed pretty good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness gracious. That is about enough horsing around. He's gonna be sad when if he goes to replace his battery in an auto parts store and they won't do it. Alright, I'm gonna get a wrench, button this up. We're gonna fire this thing up first before I put the wheel liner in. Alright, we're making an executive decision. I'm gonna take a risk. I'm gonna put this all back together because apparently the customer's gonna be here in 20 minutes to get it. It's supposed to be done. So, me being me, I want all the push pins back, so I had to take them all out. They were all behind everything, like the plastic was just pulled over them. I'm guessing the tow truck driver tried to jump start it or something. Spray a little bit of deep creep on these push pins and they come apart and go together a lot easier. The main thing is it's not flapping around hitting the tires, making noises and weird stuff like that. I love this business, man. It's so predictable. As soon as you go, oh yeah, do this and it'll work, it's not gonna work. you having as much fun as I am? I'm having a blast. You dirty rascal. Alright, pop the tire on. See if this thing starts, and hopefully it does, because it's taking it about 15 minutes either way. I don't know how, but whatever. Not sure what that's from, but I am sure this has to go on, because this looks like it goes to this car, because it has a V6. Someone put a new aluminum oil filter housing on it. I'm assuming this rag was ours. All right. Oh, that's Bill's voltmeter, I think, on there too. All right. Oh, nice Diag. I like it. 2018. 105,622 miles. Love rating of 3. There's the keys, so it should start. Uh-oh. She's not running too good. So I know what happened with the starter. They burned it up trying to start a bad engine, probably. Something not right. Sounds like someone hope smashed this motor. That's not good. Probably needs an engine. Sweet. Alright, now try to figure out what's going on, see if the oil looks sparkly or anything like that. Remember I mentioned someone just put an oil filter housing on there? It looks like it's either leaking oil or they didn't clean up afterwards. The radiator cap is loose for some reason. So, see if this car has a tag on it. It's got a used car lot vibe to it. And it's got a tag. Be naked, be free. Naturist equality. Life is short, be a nudist. I support top free equality on beaches. Okay. We know where they stand on that. Good for them. You know what? That's what you're into? Whatever. Let's try it again, just to see if it does the same thing. Yeah. This thing needs an engine. Okay. That was a waste of time. What are you gonna do? We're gonna have an annoying beep here, but it sounds like timing issue to me. It sounds like a jump time, which means on this probably bent valves, damaged pistons, etc., etc. Sometimes they'll drop a valve and it makes the timing jump because it can't turn everything the way it wants, all that kind of stuff. So coolant temperature codes, oil temperature sensor, camshaft position sensor A and B, which means the chains jumped. So camshaft sensor A and B, camshaft position. So when you go into manufacturer specific for Dodge, it says no codes. You go in OBD2, it shows you all these codes. So they wanted to know what the codes were before we get in touch with the customer, try to stop him from driving down to pick it up. He may still come take it, he may tow it out of here. Someone's been doing some work under the hood. Just one of those situations. Sometimes the customer has a bad engine and they'll burn the starter up with their friend trying to get it running. And then they bring it to us when they can't get it running, and we go, well, the starter's cooked. We put a starter in, and we find out how they burn the starter up. Unfortunately, it happens. So the thing is, when it cranks right now, it goes rah, rah, kind of stopped because it can't turn the motor. So that's one of those things where if you put an amp clamp on there, you'll see a lot of amperage, but you could blame the starter. So then you put a breaker bar or something on the crankshaft and try to turn it. So in any event, this thing needs major engine repair, I would probably recommend replacing the engine at this point because the damage may be too great. The only way you'd know is tearing the engine apart, taking the heads off, and all that stuff is labor. And then if you do find damage, then you replace the engine, you just added to the expense. So we'll see what happens with this car. He didn't want the battery because he said he didn't have the money for it, and that battery is only 6 months old. It should be fine. But when the battery gets discharged, it gets damaged. Doesn't matter how new it is. Maybe he could have got it warranted if that was his only problem left. But anyway, I'm a little bit sad. You could probably tell. So we'll see what happens next. It's very strange. You can see the car out there with the door open. The Journey. He came to get it. He's like, I can't afford to do an engine right now. So if you could just pull it out for me, I'm going to take it home. We said, you're going to need a tow truck. It doesn't run. Well, you put a starter in it, so it should start. That's not how it works. The starter turns the engine. It doesn't mean it's definitely going to start. It just turns now. I thought it would run and I could take it home. No, you got to tow it. Okay, pull it around for me. I'm going to take it home. My struts are here for the BMW. That's why I brought you guys in. Not for the frustrating part. Alright, I found the wheel lock in the trunk. And I gathered up my special European wheel pin kit. And I got the necessary tools, I think. I might be missing one here and there. We'll have to go back to the big box. That's it, right? Oh, those don't turn that much, I forgot. They're like 90 degrees. I should get a wrench to do it. They only turn them enough that they'll Lego my ego. And I just need to get to the back bolts. It's got 5 bolts on the strut tower. This rubber dealio should come off like that. Oh, that's nice. It's like 4.5 or 4.8 hours labor to do these struts. I'm guessing it's going to be a little more entertaining down there underneath the wheel once we get those off. Alright, it looks like the blue ones fit these threads. So someone really liked to tighten the wheels a lot. Wow. Alright, let's go get the big impact gun. See if that'll do it. A little mid-torque, well, can't do it because they're like 300 foot-pounds or something. I hope the lock's not that tight. Let's just try the lock with the mid-torque first. Just make sure we don't destroy it. If it doesn't go pretty quick, I'll use a breaker bar and do it by hand. Someone over tightened the heck out of them. Okay. You know what I might do? I just get a breaker bar instead and do all the bolts with a breaker bar since I got to get it for the lock. If I put my big gun on the lock, it'll probably just rip the teeth off of it. That's a shame. The design of these too, it kind of lends itself to that. If you over tighten them a little, it feels like they're 3 times as tight because you're fighting the seat of the nut against the wheel and the threads pulling on the hub at the same time. So you got 2 things working against you. It's similar to studs and nuts, but not exactly the same. I'm going to use a snap-on breaker bar just because, you know me, nothing but the best. Price is no object. Plus I already had it, and I didn't see any reason to sell it and replace it with a different brand of breaker bar. Ugh. That's not good. It still broke the wheel lock. Okay, that's a shame. Ugh. So, someone got mad that they didn't want to fix it or whatever, and lock these wheels on as tight as they could make them. We'll teach them a lesson, I guess. Ugh. The really bad thing is, now the wheel lock's destroyed. So we're gonna have a problem. Well, while they find the original replacement wheel lock for this thing from the dealer, I'm gonna tighten these nuts back up a little bit just in case I don't have to remember them. But I'm not gonna tighten them to 475 foot-pounds this time. Oh my goodness gracious. Simple job. It is electronic suspension, but it's not that much harder. It has a couple of connectors on the strut. But let's go to the other side and try to get that done at least. Uh-oh. I got good news. Katie found another wheel lock key. We're gonna have it tomorrow. So that's good. That is good. Hopefully that one won't break. I'm wondering now if I twisted that socket a little bit sideways. I'm gonna have to watch the video and see. But in any event, it shouldn't be that damn tight to begin with. So supposedly he doesn't go anywhere but here, which would make me really sad if we tightened it that much, but it's out of my hands. This is a 10, I believe. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's getting a little windy. I'm working outside and the wind is picking up. What is that? What are you guys doing? Oh, is that an Allen? Yeah, it feels like an Allen. Okay, let's go back to the toolbox. Let's see if this here Torx will do it. That's just a sensor of some kind. I don't know what it senses. Strut temperature, G-forces, the speed that you're hitting bumps. It's a 3-wire sensor. I don't know what it does. Anybody know? All I know is we'll take it off and we'll put it on the other strut. That's all. I cracked that nut loose with the impact gun and then it started spinning, of course. So, maybe everything's going to go really smooth from now on. That's what I'm hoping. Sway bar is out, wiring's off, the bottom bolt is out, but man, that strut's, it's like, the strut's like 4 or 5 inches into the spindle where the bolt clamps through it. It drops down about that far. I don't know how that's going to come off of there. Maybe that's why it pays a lot. They want you to disassemble the whole front of the car. You know what I do know? I know I'm going to put some deep creep on there just to help in the process. Jive turkeys, they can design stuff that's really cool, but not that lasts past 60,000 miles. Take this caliper off. There's 2 possibilities. Where am I even going to put it? It doesn't weigh a lot, it's aluminum, or as they say in Germany, aluminium. I'm going to put it here for now on the strut that's coming out. I could loosen the top of the strut and maybe it'll relax the suspension and I'll be able to clear it out of the wheel well and slide it out because the tie rod ends at the bottom. So this might pivot out enough. The problem is if it doesn't go down enough, then it won't be able to clear the strut tower and it'll make it worse trying to get it off the knuckle. I can't find any repair procedures, at least not on Identifix. I didn't look on all data. Maybe I'll take a peek in all data and see if they want you to disassemble the entire front suspension. They probably do. BMW and stuff. Alright. Yep, the old all data says, yeah, just take the whole front end off the car and the strut comes right out after that. Okay, alright, that's what we'll do. Take the whole front end off the car. Then the strut will come right out after that. It all seems kind of silly to me, that's what I'm trying to say. It's just... when you get something to knock this rotor loose. I didn't bring a hammering device. Oh look, let's try the old pry bar technique. Get my little ABS out of the way. It only works if they're like right on the edge. Just give it a pop. Pop. Give it 3 pops and then it comes off. And that way you don't have to get a hammer and you don't have to hammer on the hub. And you see how it's like kind of like riveted together? Another cool idea. That way you get a steel rotor and aluminum hat. They want you to have a special tool to put in between the knuckle and the strut once you have it on the workbench to separate them. So I definitely have no chance of getting it down. You see how far down it goes? I mean, it's not designed to be repaired. Basically, you need struts, put it in salvage, buy a new one. Uh-oh. It wasn't even perfectly straight. It came right off. I almost went in for a swivel, and I said, you know what? I'm way too stubborn for that. I did go in for my breaker bar, and that didn't help. You see where that got me? So, now you know why I try to find workarounds. It's on a tapered stud deal, and There's 2 ball joints and a tie rod end. It's a masterpiece, basically, is what it is, really. They usually pop out of there. I don't know why this one's so tight. Let's try from a different angle and see if that works. Because it's got to come off somehow or another. Huh. Alright, maybe not. Maybe I'll get one of my gear wrench push-pull press things and see if it'll do something. A little more angle might do. Oh yeah, that's loose. That should be coming off. What's the dealio? Why is it not coming off? You know what it is too much angle right now on that to let it lift off, I bet. Uh-oh, tools. Drawing tools on the ground. Really? This is the best we can come up with? Really? Earth-shattering suspension design for superior handling on the way to work. Oh man, that's good stuff. I really enjoy this kind of thing actually, but I think what set it off is I'm a little frustrated about the wheel lock deal, and that was just moving. What are you guys doing, man? How does it go back to being stuck on the stud again when I had it wiggling around? There it is. So when I straighten it out, it's bound on threads, and when I turn it, it's not. I don't know. I guess I got to take the suspension arm off the frame or something. Get an 8mm. Take the underbelly pan off. You wouldn't think you'd have to do that to do struts, but apparently you do now. Oh yeah. That was the last of about 38 screws or so, I guess. I don't know. This is the these are the screws to take the underbelly pan off so that you can get the strut off. There's no wonder why this job's $2,000, but you know, I didn't design it, I didn't buy it, and I didn't break it. I'm just trying to fix it, in spite of their best efforts to not make it repairable. What they end up doing is just make it really expensive. But a new one's so expensive, people go, okay, fix it, I'm not going to buy a new one. So, I think that's an 18 or a 19. And I think I'll need a wrench on this side too, of course. And then I don't have to worry about the leverage that's being created by the angle of the ball joint. Just remember, you wanted this. That is an exorbitant amount of bolts. What, you gotta take the rack and pinion out now to get that bolt out? Oh my goodness gracious, man. If that bolt wouldn't have come out, it would have got serious. We would have had a sawzall out here. The strut brace, look at this lunacy. The strut tower brace is literally bolted to the strut plate. Not the strut tower, the strut plate. This comes out with the strut. Maybe this is plastic, who knows? Anything's possible. I wonder if all these bolts go into the strut plate. I gotta get a Torx for that, I know that. Oh my God, Becky. Now, I need to hold the strut and the knuckle and the hub and all that stuff up. And the spring. While I remove this. Oh, by the way, in the instructions, it also says to replace all the fasteners when you do this repair. And the gasket on top of the strut's supposed to be replaced. And there's a sealant they want you to spray inside here when you put it back together. Now, there's a pin in there that keeps it straight, so it's in the right spot in relationship to the knuckle. So, oh, look how the hub bearing's held on with Torx socket, Torx bolts. I'm gonna get a chisel to give that a little wedge, and then it should slide right off, right? That's the theory. Let's see. Now you could just get the special BMW tool. But I'm here to tell you it's not needed. Authentic BMW part. Good for at least another 60,000 miles. That is the driver's, nope, that's the passenger side. Okay, cool. We don't need that cab condom anymore. Slide some of this stuff out of the way. Get out my special tool. You guys saw I used this a couple weeks ago. I'll use it again. It's got latches on the sides too, so I kind of like that. Plastic cases are kind of flimsy and cheap, but at least this one has 4 latches instead of 2, because they always break. You know, these look like they're serviceable, these aren't. And then it's got metal hinges too, so it ought to last a decent amount of time. I'm gonna find the right spring cups. Hopefully I have the right spring cups. And there is only 3 coils, so I might have to do this one on the wall-mounted spring compressor. This is the only one that's a standard size, and this one changes sizes again. Does it seem like I'm frustrated with this job yet? All right. Change of plans. I'll put this away. We'll try the wall-mounted one, because with everything going on right here, it doesn't look like much. With that difference in diameter, there's going to be no place to grab it with this tool like I thought. I should print it out for you and show you the list. When you go into the procedure and all data, it shows it. Identifix has basically nothing. But all data shows a list of about 25 specialty tools they want you to have to do this job. I mean, I guess it's just the way this industry is going. They don't want anyone else touching their stuff, so they got all kinds of unique ways to do things so that you'll leave it alone, I guess. But people won't leave it alone. They'll figure it out. Someone will be welding the front suspension from a 1987 Dodge Omni in the front of one of these things to keep it on the road someday. At least with this one, I'm going to just press on the strut mount, because there's only 2 coils here. So that's why they want you to have special BMW tool number 937-70 or something. Oh, we're haunted. We got garbage cans rolling in from outside. It's Halloween season, that's why. That's when the ghosts show up. If this pops out of there, it's going to scare you. You don't want to have your hands in there, and you don't want to have your face in there. I mean, if it hits you in the leg or stomach, it's going to hurt. It's probably not going to hurt you really bad. They don't have quite the energy that people seem to think they might, but you still got to be cautious. You can't just be reckless. And if you're cautious, they're not really as scary as everyone makes them out to be. The stored energy, like this is only compressed 1 inch. So if it comes out of there, it expands about 1 inch, maybe, you know, it might be 1 inch higher than the strut mount when it's fully released. So it's going to go out 2 inches and go boing. Sometimes you got to add tension to get the nut to release. Should be getting hot enough to release soon. There's no way I can put I guess you need this is probably one of the special tools. There's an 18mm socket with a hole in the center to put an Allen down the middle. And the socket can be held with another kind of a tool, I'm guessing. I hear the impact gun go, and it's actually turning the nut on the shaft rather than spinning the shaft. Now it's off. So now what I'll have to do is load it back down to get the new one in. I basically loosened it almost all the way off. Again, I didn't design it. Not my fault. I'm not going to have the wheel lock till tomorrow, where I can do the other side, but I'll try to get this side done tonight at least. It's getting kind of late now though, but we'll see what happens. Everything stayed up there. The rubber has to stop, so I know where that goes to. Told you to replace all the hardware, but they don't give you hardware with it. And now I'm going to have to crank this down to get the nut on it. Of course, it wants to turn my tool to loosen on me when I let go of it. If only just to make it a little more exciting. Ooh, that's hot too, you know. And I don't have a lot of options because I didn't bring my socket with me. Got it. OMG. Loose loosen it up so I can tighten it. Got it. You just got to keep playing with it till it goes. That's basically the bottom line. That's how they want it, I guess. That's how we do it. Try as they may, they're not going to stop me from succeeding. No matter how hard BMW makes this, I challenge you to make it where Jimmy can't do it. It's impossible. Can't be done. And remember, if I can do it, Eric O can do it. Something like that. I forget how that goes. There you go, turkeys. Try to stop me. Now it's tight on the strut. That chisel actually is the only reason it came on and off that easy. So just basically leverage, just wedging it apart. Let me take a breather. Now we'll try to hoist this thing back in the car. All right. You. Couple of bolts. There are some guide pins too, and you got to get those pins up in the holes to make sure the threads will line up right. Otherwise, it's going to fight you a bit. Those two nipples sticking up there, those are the ones I'm talking about, troublemakers. Got to get that torque socket on there next. I don't like using chrome sockets on an impact gun, but because they're made for ball detent retention, not for lock springs, and they'll actually damage the anvil and ruin the spring. If you ever wonder why they seem to go bad on you real fast and you have to replace them all the time and your sockets fall off, it's from using chrome sockets too much on them. Shouldn't really do it at all, but sometimes you don't have a lot of options. I'll try to grab an impact extension or something like that if I feel like walking back to my box again, but I didn't feel like it that time. I'll put some of this back together here, and the top will be done on this side and try to get the bottom done tonight too. Now, I'll put that in the knuckle. Then we're gonna have to try to coerce it to come towards the car afterwards. It's easier than trying to feed this into that afterwards, I think. I don't know, I could be wrong, but that's what I think. I'm guessing that the BMW mechanics, I think I might have said this before, but they get a little defensive, but I think it's because they don't know any different. They think this is normal. It's not. I feel bad for them. I bet you this is like 1.1 under warranty or something, maybe less. Then they're like, why can't we get anyone to work at the dealerships? Because the owner makes $7 million a year and you want to pay the mechanics $18 an hour flat rate? Give them 2/10 for a strut on a BMW 435. Might be exaggerating slightly, Jimmy, but you know what I mean. I've got to leverage the arm forward. I'll try on the new strut, that's all. Alright, we're getting somewhere now. That was the hard part, I hope. Yeah, that's right. That's right, you tightened up. I don't want to hear it now. You tightened up. Next one is going to be just as much fun. Somehow or another. There it is. And the only reason these kinds of steering systems work is because the ball joints both swivel in the socket. It wears them out a little faster, but you know, it works. I'm not sure why they decided it was something they wanted to do after all these years, but one thing I gotta say. I mean, these cars do handle good. You can't deny that. But I just don't want to work on them. That is not sarcasm. I don't even know what the labor is on this. I don't think I want to know until I'm done, because it's aggravating enough already. You don't want to add to it. You want to try to keep your joy. Try to put a smile on your face. Try to do the best you can, and I'm gonna have to get a swivel for that. I took it off with that one, but I'm not feeling good about putting it back on with that one. I don't want to chew the nut up. That is a 21 millimeter swivel coming up. I'm gonna lower this down, start putting the brakes on it. The pinch bolt goes through, squeezes the knuckle to the strut, and holds a bracket for the brake hose. So I'm going to go ahead and get this caliper on here, just so everything's sitting in the correct place. These are 18s, I think, or 17s? I gotta look. I think they're 18s. Oh yeah! Every time the wind blows that roof behind me, crack! Crack! It bounces up and down about 4 inches on the beams. I'm gonna fix that one of these days. It was damaged in the last hurricane. We haven't fixed it yet. But we're gonna leave it that way through Halloween because it's scary when it bounces. The ABS sensor is really deep in this knuckle, and it's held in with a little Allen bolt. Oh, it's the Torx. It's held in with a little tiny Torx bolt. Bases like this, and it's like right about here, inside the knuckles. A little bit of a treat to get to it, but what I did is I just got a little extension and I did it like with that. It's not so bad. I think I got it started by hand a little bit, about a turn or two. Can barely get my fingertips on it. It is really buried in there. It's probably for aerodynamics, that's what I'm guessing. Uh-oh, don't go the wrong way. Can't afford to have that. That's good. Now, this slips in the joint where the knuckle is. Then you've got this special bolt with a step on it. And this should be the nut for it too, I believe. And there's another weird lock nut. This one goes on the stabilizer link or sway bar link or roll bar link, whatever you like to call it. I was beginning to wonder if I was going to get this done. I was starting to wonder if I'd get this done tonight. This is not an easy strut job. I probably could have done 3 pairs of struts on a vehicle that I'm used to working on by now. But whatever, it is what it is, right? This is what I'm fixing now, so this is what I'm going to fix now. And I'll just sort it out one way or another. I believe this goes here. So yeah, to pull that tab up to lock that thing in place. Turkeys. Just another one of the many amazing design attributes that I can't help to understand. Let's take another peek around. Pinch bolt, wire, harness tabs. This came with a new sensor. That's plugged in. This one, I never took that out of that bracket. Well, I actually took it out, put it back in when I realized the bracket unbolts the whole thing. I thought it was part of the strut. ABS sensors in, caliper bracket bolts are tight. All right, this thing's done on this side. I gotta do the stabilizer link. Ha ha! I knew, I just wanted you to go, Jimmy, the stabilizer link, don't forget the stabilizer link. I knew it, I just wanted to see if you're paying attention, that's all. Torx backwards and a 16 wrench. Again, I'll tighten it however much I can, then impact the last little bit. Oh my Goodness gracious. Might have to use the open end. That's about as far as that's going to take that without messing up the Torx inside that stud. So now I should be able to use my 18, or what is that, a 16? Yeah, it's a 16. Should be able to use my 16. Give that thing a hit with the impact gun and finalize it. There you go. Now I can put the wheel on and I'd have you going, don't forget that. It was funny when my buddy Dan, that posts on there a lot on the channel, when I post a new video, he always wants to be first, and he almost always is. It's really funny. He's like, I was yelling at the video, no, don't forget the door release cable. It happens, man. I'm human. I could edit that stuff out, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not trying to pretend I'm some kind of an automotive repair god. I'm just like all of you guys, doing the best I can every day, learning things, teaching things, whatever, you know, whatever happens, happens. There's plenty of flawless gurus on YouTube. We don't need any more. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna leave this out, so I don't have to try to remember to tighten that one torque, that one lock stud, whatever you want to call that thing. But I am gonna put these other ones in. Eventually we're gonna have to fix that roof. You're right, I did tighten that with the power tool. It's the end of the day and I'm tired. That's where we're finishing today's video, guys. It's late, we're getting ready to close up any minute. I'm not gonna start the other side because I can't get that wheel off, right? So thanks for watching today's video. I really appreciate you. I hope you got something from it. I got a little frustrated on this car. I guess that came through, but it's halfway done now, so that's the good news. We're gonna have that wheel lock tomorrow. I'll be able to finish this thing up in the next video. So torque the like button on your way out if you will, and subscribe if you haven't yet and you're new to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot when you leave a comment, subscribe, and smash the like button. On my channel, we torque the like button. We don't want to lose like button. Hope I see you in the next video, because you're awesome.